We're going to start about 10 seconds early. Deal with it. That's just the way we roll here at Joe's Bar. We're just super excited to be here tonight, and everybody's really excited to have some great interaction and just have some fun and hang out for a bit. And welcome everybody who's here to do just that. I really appreciate it. We've got a great group here to talk, and we're just going to let it roll and see how it goes. And right now, I'm going to introduce our first guest, and here she is, the one and only. She knows she was going to be first. Here she is, Katie Salinas. Tell everybody about yourself, Katie.
People! I get to talk to people! Hey guys, Katie Salinas here. Most of you guys know me. I am the assistant producer of the Spilling Ink show, as well as a 6-time series urban fantasy author. So happy to be here.
Nice. Welcome. It's nice to have you. All right. And I'm just going to go randomly here. All right. Julia. Hello, Julia.
Hi, everybody. I'm Julia, a.k.a. J.K. Allen when I write. I write primarily urban fantasy, young adult. And so I've got the Angelborn series out. I'm also president and head editor of Three Furious Press. Glad to be here.
Nice. Welcome. All right. And then we have Isa.
Hi, I'm Isa the bartender, coming to you from my home bar. I am always ready for this sort of thing. I'm the CEO of Three Furies Press. I'm also a lighthearted crime fiction author, and my second book in the Art of Lying series comes out in this fall.
Awesome. Welcome. All right, and then we have V.S. Holmes, the one and only.
I'm V.S. Holmes. I'm a sci-fi fantasy author. I specialize in queer and disabled characters. I also run the Amphibian Press podcast, which is mostly author interviews. Hi, MJ, when he comes back on. We just were talking earlier. Yeah, that's pretty much me.
Nice. And last but certainly not least, and new to Joe's Bar, and we're awesome to have him, the one and only MJ Preston. Say hello, MJ.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, MJ Preston. I guess you would say I'm a horror author and police procedural. I've got a couple of novels out there, but just recently released was my Highwayman series. And hey, I just want to hang out and talk.
Awesome. Welcome. Well, everybody's saying hello. There's a hello from Anita. Hello from Rebecca. Rebecca directly to Katie. Regine says hello, drinking people. Human interactions being. Oh, that was Katie, so never mind.
Oh, thanks.
And then Regine says, Julie, your hair looks awesome. Rebecca, Katie's missed you. Katie, she's missed you. Oh, snap, Isa, love the new haircut. See, there's somebody recognized it.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing? We were kind of joking that we're not going to talk about the thing that should not be talked about because we've talked about it enough in our going arounds, and I certainly have talked a lot about it on This Week in Indies. Now that we have another show coming up on Sunday, all about dealing with indie presses and kind of what you can do beyond this time when you're stuck here. I asked the one and only Rebecca Jonesy, because she was here early, if there was something she wanted to start off with, and this is what she came up with. If you guys want to get into this, we can, or we can just keep going and then figure out where we're at that point. But I think it's a valid thing right now. We're all kind of looking. I think right now we're all clamoring for human interaction, which is nice. But this is an opportunity, right, to get some writing done. So I mean, is everybody kind of taking advantage? I know we're doing sprints and stuff like that. So
yeah, I'm trying to do writing sprints, and there I go, touching my face.
Shot.
Somebody do a shot. Yeah, no. I've been trying to do writing sprints because I'm trying to get my book done fairly around the end of this month and get the new book done. Yeah. Everyone's like, "Oh, Shakespeare wrote King Lear during the plague," and I'm like, "Oh, he had like nothing else to worry about though. Like someone was just like he had a wife and servants to like take care of the house and the food, and like he just sat there and wrote. And so like he was Shakespeare, guys. Come on, like
But
don't put that
he
kind of
didn't have
pressure on
toilet
yourself."
paper.
Right. We don't have toilet paper either in Michigan, apparently. You know, so.
The
I
woods
knew
works.
it
I
was going to come
promise.
to that.
Yeah, all those leaf posts where they're like, "This is safe for toilet paper. This one's the poison ivy." You know,
I work in the woods. I know.
I'm going to be asking
I
you
don't-
questions in
I-
a couple weeks.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Look, if push came to shove, that's not highest on my zombie apocalypse list to get toilet paper. It would be something else. Toilet paper.
There was an article that
There's alternatives. There's alternatives. I won't go into it, but there are alternatives.
Yeah.
You know, you ever went camping? You know, like when you're young. You know, I mean, there's always alternatives. There's lakes you can jump in, clean yourself.
All right. Note to self: do not go into lakes that MJ Preston has gone camping at.
Enter at your own risk.
It's really apocalyptic though to go to the grocery store. It's
It is
terrible.
crazy.
You're not supposed to
The aisles.
It's so
There
weird.
was,
It's
like-
so weird. The random shit that is gone is the weirdest thing to me. There's some like weird stuff that I would never suspected would have been out of stock or anything like that. You know,
Right. I went to Kroger and there was this total gamer guy, like basement mom, never cooked a day in his life. And who's like on the phone, so angry, like the ramen's gone, the corn dogs are gone, burritos are gone, there's barely any frozen pizza. And he's like, "You better get down here before the pizza's gone, guy." And I'm just like, all these people need to learn how to cook. Because like chicken was like 88 cents a pound. There's all these sales on meats. I'm like, there's food, people. You just need to cook it.
There was chicken left. There was no
Yeah.
win. Although I did manage to get 2 packages of brats, so that was kind of a win for me.
No, I mean, it's like
I think-
meat is finally
I'm
affordable.
going to
in
be
some
so
places.
drunk by the time this is over.
I know. Keep starting our writing.
We said we weren't going to talk about this.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I guess
you
you got to address the elephant in the room for sure.
Well, my
I
day
think the most-
job is work from home, and my side gig as a writer is already work from home. So it does kind of feels the same to me. And I never leave the house anyway. So
I'm going stir crazy. I'll admit it. I was like, "Ooh, a run to the grocery store sounds so thrilling right now." You know, just like knowing I can't go is kind of like making me like need to go. And I'm
That-
just like, "No, Julia,
yeah.
social distancing." You know.
We've just been having to deal with a lot of like my mom's friends who don't get it, and both my mom and I are high risk, so we're like, "No, we like you, but we don't like you that much. You can stay outside." We put a sign on our door this morning, which just
Right.
says, please call first, because we had someone drop food off without telling us, like walk into our house and put food in our fridge without telling us, which is like creepy anyways. But
Yeah. And me and my mom are high risk as well. And I'm just like looking forward to going grocery shopping during the high risk elderly hours and getting yelled at for not looking old enough or something, you know. People are being so critical of each other right now. And I'm just like, we really need to be more understanding, but also like not selfish. Like, like, you know, the viral video of the elderly woman who had like no food. It's like, I'm so glad they're doing elderly hours.
Yeah. Let me turn this full circle now. And has anybody got any good ideas from what's going on right now? Has anything percolated that you guys are going to take advantage
Oh,
of?
you're writing wise?
Yeah.
Writing
Yeah.
wise?
Yeah.
So
I actually kind of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
you no, you go first.
I've blown off the whole idea because I think it's going to be like Twilight all over again. And there's going to be a million vampire books. I think you're going to see that happen. And but just one thing I want to say, and maybe is a little bit inspiring because I heard a lot of negativity about this, and of course it's a negative damn thing. Is there's a lot of heroism going on out there right now. There's people driving trucks. You know, they're holding the country together. These guys, the people standing at the cashiers, you know, restocking the shelves, the frontline medical workers, and all these people. I mean, it's inspiring how these people are stepping up, but particularly the blue collar people. And you know, a medical professional, that's their profession, but that person doesn't have to go in and work at the grocery store to make sure people got, milk for their kids or whatever. So I think it is kind of inspiring. And I think as a world community, we're getting a giant wake up call right now. And I think
Yep.
if we keep going the course, we're going to be fine. But we got to just pay attention to what they're telling us.
Yeah, I've been trying to look at
Anyway,
positive
sorry to be a
news
downer.
lately.
No.
No, I've just been trying to look at
No, I'm
positive
just gonna
news.
sit here.
Go for it, Julia.
Oh, I was just gonna say I've been trying to look at like more positive news links of like, people like even someone in our community was like, I have extra toilet paper, I'm putting it on the lawn for whoever needs it and can't get it, because like we've got stores from like here to 5 cities from here in the rural communities who can't get toilet paper at any store. So like someone saying, I've got some extra, here's, the general neighborhood, if you're in the city, come grab it, like things like that. That's like what I'm holding on to.
Now, would it be quite ironic if somebody took that toilet paper and toilet paper into your house?
I think people would be like picking it up at this point and just like using it anyway.
That is my favorite meme floating around right now is the toilet papered house on Zillow for $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
You were gonna say something, V, about taking advantage of this.
Yeah, so it actually loops back to the question too of like kickstarting our writing when it's like just if that's not something we usually have. And I actually happened to join a type of outlining course that is just sort of a more in-depth outlining course, and the first class was last Saturday. It goes for like 12 weeks, which is actually perfect timing, and I didn't really think about it when I signed up a couple months ago. But I've been doing that because it actually sort of starts from a different side of writing, with more like the log line, and then you start building out from there. And that's been really fun because it's making my brain work in a way that it doesn't always when I'm doing my creative stuff. So that's sort of what I've been focusing on. But the book I'm working on is Heretics, which is the 4th in my Nell Bentley series. The sequel to Strangers, Joe. And so one of the things is the character comes back to a mostly deserted planet, and has to kind of figure out what happened. And so seeing what the cities look like when there's very few people, like actually look like, not just what we pictured them looking like, and sort of how the globe has changed and how nature has changed like so quickly in response to humans being less of an impact, is definitely inspiring for that, even though it wasn't a pandemic related thing.
Isn't that interesting? I saw this thing about Italy recently, and how for the first time in like decades, the ponds and the waterways are as clear as day. Like the water is just like pristine and
Yeah,
beautiful.
the swans have returned to Venice.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
How
And
much
time,
that matters.
and
It just-
piggybacking on that, I thought of a marketing thing for my book where the central plot point is a kiss on a bridge in Italy. So I'm like, hey, come read this book where it's perfectly safe to kiss a stranger on a bridge in Italy.
As opposed to like sending notes over the streets, right?
Right.
Yeah, I just, for anybody, I don't want to get into political or anything like that, but I mean, for anybody who doesn't believe in global warming, just look at how that's, literally within 2 weeks, Italy's transformed. It's just crazy because they had nobody walking the streets or no gondolas, spewing oil or anything in there that was ruining the water, and the water just returned to beautification. It's just
It's definitely a point of how much impact we truly have.
right.
We always talk about doing little
Better
things
about
to
it.
make a huge change. Well, there you go. That's proof positive that, these little changes, if done by everybody, make such a huge impact.
Literally everyone, though, not just like
I don't
Right,
know.
not just 1 or 2 people here and there.
I don't know why I can't see all the comments on Facebook, but Jason mentioned Julia that he loves the glasses. Or I guess maybe he was talking to. I don't know who he's talking to. Who are you talking to?
probably
We've got
us.
a couple glasses. But he said hi, Jules.
Yeah.
On top of that. I think he's talking to me. But I don't know.
As a counterpoint, though, to the productive argument of, now we're home, we have so much time to write, how many of us are finding it almost impossible to clear your head to write because there's this just glut of information being thrown at you? And, yes, you're home, but now you have other obligations. Like for those of us who have kids or maybe we have to take care of, entertaining them and keeping them from going stir crazy. It's such a change that, almost finding the time and the mental space has been harder.
So all of you
I
guys
know.
are at
I've
home
been getting a
now?
little scared right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been locked down
Everybody
since
guys is at home.
Tuesday.
Yeah, 'cause-
Yep.
oh, see,
Vegas ordered
I'm not.
at 1 p.m. That all this is non-essential should be shut down by midnight. So Vegas is now completely
Okay.
closed down as of today.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
I was
I'm
in the most
working in
affected
essential
county in
service, so-
California. I was in the most affected county in California, so I was shut down Monday night in the county, and then Gavin Newsom yesterday declared state of emergency and shut the entire state down yesterday. So the entire state's on lockdown.
Yeah, we've been on state of emergency for a couple weeks. We're not like mandatory, but it's supposed to be like if you don't need to go out, don't go out. So I've been trying to practice that.
The governor even called out some of the strip clubs that used to shut down on his suggestion, and who were on drive-through strip shows.
Oh, jeez.
It was hand sanitizing. He called specifically was
oh my God.
to shut every.
Oh, I think
Oh,
she-
we
I
lost
think we lost her, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Katie.
Got her.
Jason was talking about your glasses, V. That's what.
Oh, thank you. They're sort of new.
Fancy.
Yeah, like in Canada, we're pretty much on par with you guys. The only like most a lot of people are home now, but the essential services are still doing their job, and I just wow, I never saw this coming in a million years. Like I mean, I'm not saying I never saw something like this, but I just never thought I would see them say, "Okay, California, go home, stay home
Right.
until this blows over." It's like, wow, I mean that's just a momentous move by governments around the world, and you're going, this is
It leaves
crazy.
you in
Man.
such a weird state though, because you're half panicked, but then you're half kind of this is okay as long as I'm. You still got that panicky nature going on too because of why everything's being shut down.
Yeah.
Well, and you're
No,
doing
it's-
like the only thing you can do, but it feels like so little because like I mean I have a lot of anxiety, but usually in a crisis I'm really good because it's like I can have a job, I know how to like see my way out of it, I have a problem to solve, and that helps. But this is just like so we're just gonna sit here now.
Yeah.
That's good.
My mind's been
why
kind of
have
doing
why
Yeah.
people have problems complying. We're not asking anyone to go stand in front of bullets. We're asking people to stay home, sit on their couch, and smoke weed. It's not that hard. I've been doing it all week.
Oh, is that?
That's why Ice is in a good mood. Yeah.
I like her.
Winter, like, I've been doing this since December. It's just now sunnier out.
I
Well,
don't have a
I'm
problem.
bummed because
Right
I'd
now.
love to do it. I could catch up on a lot of work if I was, to do that. I'd love to do that. But unfortunately, where I work in safety and stuff like that with a major trucking company, and the stuff still got to move. So we got to
Right.
we're even at work now. We're like, you sit down in the lunchroom to have lunch with somebody. There's no more grouping together. Like we used to all sit around the table and everybody be, and once a week somebody would bring in a food for everybody. We're not
Right.
doing that now, and the doors are closing and the doors are locking, and you have to knock or you got to go to a window. So, and that's strange times to live in. I went out because we were shorthanded, and I drove a truck out to go pick up a load, and I got a message from them, back into the door. Don't sign. You don't have to come in. Like they didn't want me to come in, and we'll
Right.
just put the bills in the back of the trailer, and that's it. Don't sign nothing. Just take it. So it's so what I'm saying is, even though I'm out there in the public, we're being careful too, trying not to interact. And I think my hands are so them again and again and again. Anytime you touch a doorknob, and oh God, I got to go wash it. but just that you can't get hand sanitizer up here. People have cleaned out the shelves. It's gone.
Mm.
I was thinking about
I have a
taking a bottle of
question,
vodka with me, and I could use that. What do you think?
Whiskey.
As long as it's
Well,
the high proof
vod-
vodka, then yes.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
might be
All the
hard to explain to
distilleries
the
are
cops when
different,
they pull you over though. Why do you?
Well, the
I'm
distilleries are
sanitizing.
making hand sanitizer for a couple
Yeah.
weeks.
Sanitizing.
Yeah.
We got
Just
to
gotta
know
be
the big
So there you
question
go.
is, though, what about Madagascar? We can't win if we don't get Madagascar.
Well, I want to ask you guys for tips for blurbs because we are telling our authors to write blurbs before the book comes out. And so I'm trying to do that, and I suck at blurbs.
I
And she
love
was talking
blurbs.
about this outlining class and log lines, and I'm like,
Yeah.
give a girl some tips.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely, like if you want to take this course,
Mhm.
it's really cool. And it like the last thing you do is write the book, which is so backwards, but it works. So far it's working. I mean, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, it sort of spells it out in a formulaic way, and then you just sort of keep workshopping them.
So what's the formula?
Yeah, and so there's the two formulas for, as I hold up 3 fingers. There's the 2 formulas.
How much vodka you had already, girl?
It's gin, thank you.
Oh,
It's
I'm-
medicinal.
I've been out of the field too long. We haven't been drinking. I mean, I could drink alone with my dog, but like, it just feels awkward. Yeah, so then you take the log line down from that to like 3 paragraphs, and you
okay.
like each paragraph has to be 3 sentences or something. She teaches it way better. She's way better than me. But it's not really the blurb that you're writing. I mean, like it can be turned into your blurb. But yeah, I love writing blurbs though, so I don't know if like my tip for writing them is like do it, it's fun. Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
if I could just ask, because I don't outline. I think it would probably drive me insane if I had to, but it works for a lot of people. But I guess it's just another layer of the mechanics. Like when
Yeah.
you write your draft and then you go back over your draft. You're no longer writing it anymore. You're smoothing, you're polishing, but you're doing a lot of mechanical stuff there too because you're looking for grammar. So the
Well, my-
outline is
my
just
outline
another
changes.
layer, then I guess.
Yeah, I go through 3 different outlines. So I'll have the outline at the beginning, like before I draft, and it's like very rudimentary. And then I have the outline between that initial draft and then like the main big revision. And then when I go through for the final polishing revision, I mean, obviously there's like more revisions than that, but like the main ones, then I change it again. And honestly, so like it's been a really long time since I've had a project that I didn't sort of know the plot of, because I mostly write in series.
Right.
So this is like the middle of a series, so I kind of have an idea of where I'm going with it, and I don't know if I could do this if it was a brand new project. I do have a brand new project that I've been sort of fiddling with in my brain, and I wanted to work on it, and the woman who's teaching this class, she was like, "Well, do the log line for it." And I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that." Like it feels wrong, and so I think maybe I'm an outliner, but not at first. Like I really think I need that organic creativity. Like I just need
What I did was do the prequel story.
Yeah.
And that's how I figured out my characters and like kind of what was going to happen.
Yeah. I think I need that too. That organic thing. And then I have to outline, like, because I can't be out of control of the situation. So I don't know. Maybe I'm like a hybrid author thing.
But you said you have a very neat desktop on your computer too, right?
I do.
Was it-
I mean, not
Yeah.
my little desktop. This is a mess. But yeah, there's like maybe 10 things on there.
Yeah,
wow.
because I told you before when I was on with you that my desktop was an absolute disaster. Millions of files and stuff just
No.
scattered. And you said it would drive you absolutely crazy. So.
Yeah. No, it would, like, my anxiety would just go off the charts. I just added a new level of folder, like tier of folders to my hard drive. and I
Right.
and I
So,
thought
but
of your desktop.
so maybe that's why outlining works for you because you're an extremely organized person. I'm a disaster, and but the question I would ask about the outlining because I don't outline, but you know what? Now that I started this series and it's all dated and highways and all these stuff that I'm going to have to remember because it's in
Right.
2 books. I about halfway through the project, I went, "Oh my god, I should have did an outline." Like, I had help. I had somebody that was keeping kill lists for me, and oh no, you can't do that, or oh, you got this guy Bob. I had a research assistant, so that was good. But if I hadn't had that person, I was still even in that thinking, God, I should have outlined. I should have outlined, but I don't think I can do it because I'm just disorganized that way. That's how I write. I just go and go. So,
Mhm.
but that's cool. There's so many different ways, but that's interesting insight. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I a whole table that I do, and I think if I wasn't writing series, I might not need to do it because, like you said, you have to keep that stuff straight. And I mean, especially with like epic fantasy, I literally have a 250 person like family tree thing. So like, if I didn't need to do that, I don't know if I would, but
I always tell people if you can't do it before you write, do it before you edit. Like just go through, you've written the whole thing. So this happened in this chapter, this happened in that chapter, this happened at the end of the book. And Isa can talk about series compendiums, which are
Yeah.
great.
Well,
well,
Julia,
good
what
marketing.
you do, that's exactly how I do it. I don't know what is going to happen until I finish that first draft. I literally have no idea what these people are going to do. But once that first draft is done, then I can sit down with it and go, okay, this should happen in this order. And so I make an outline to make it consistent. And then from that point, that's when I update the series compendium with, I've like a character sheet for each person in the story, places they go. I list all this. And as I'm working on the subsequent drafts, those notes all get done in pencil. And then when they're set in stone, like I've changed my protagonist's last name 6 times, then I make it up. So it's all ready and pretty for the next book. I'm organized after the fact. I can make a huge mess and then I do it.
I always like the idea of to-do lists. That works for me. That way it's not a hard outline. It's just here's some goalposts that I need to get to. You know, I've always said it's get milk, egg, cheese, kill the dragon, and go home. And that's kind of how I do my first, not first draft, but my skeleton draft, really, where I get, a good paragraph or two of my to-do list, and then I go from there to write out the skeleton draft.
Right. And like I do the series compendium after Isa showed how cool it looks in a binder because I just love buying binders. Like I go to Staples and I'm like, binder on sale? Like, heck yeah, what am I going to use it for? Series compendium, because you get to writing like books 2 and 3 and you're like, crap, when did I kill that person off? Like, was it book 1 or 2? I'm like, I can ask my sister, but then she's just like, oh, why don't you know this? You're the author, So I'm like, stop judging me, sissy, So I have series compendium now that I'm like, oh, it's in this book, it makes it a whole lot easier, like when you're going through and editing, because you can look at the overall picture and say, like, I have a lot of this character, but not a lot of this second character. Just by looking through the chapter outline that you've written, that I've got like 5 chapters from this person, only 2 from here. Maybe it's a little mismanaged,
Yeah, my outline is by point of view. So like each character, each point of view character has a column, and then each chapter is a row. So then that way I can see the same thing. Like, okay, I haven't like checked in with so and so in a while. Like, gee, where did I leave them?
I do that with characters. Yeah, I'll like follow one character and then be like, there's 3 other people in the scene. I don't have them doing anything, like, great.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hate that.
We have a question from our Facebook audience. Here, let me post it right now for everybody. Mikey Ferry asks, how many times would you recommend doing a full-scale edit? I've gone through mine like 10 plus times.
Until you can't stand looking at it.
Yeah, I do like, I'd say 3 main revisions, and then like an edit to like look for all the misspellings and stuff. But yeah, I'd like a couple main revisions, but I have to have someone tell me like, knock it off, you're done, enough, it's over, let it go.
I don't think it's the number of edits that's important. I think it's like I just edit in passes. Like first, I'll look over my outline and say like, okay, how are the character arcs going? Is this person like evolved enough for this book, or like do I have too much of one character, not enough of another? And then you go through and you do like. I'll do descriptions and like body language to add to my dialogue, because when I write my rough draft, it's just dialogue and there's nothing, what the characters are doing and stuff. So I'll do a full edit for like things like that. And, look at the big picture stuff, like your plot and, any inconsistencies, things like that. And then you go through and start looking at language, like is the narration follow with the character's language style, or is the sentence polished the way that I want it for this description? And then you do the proofread, so it's not the number, it's like how I focus on each edit. I do only one thing or a couple things at a time that are related.
What can help too, though, is if you get beta readers involved too. So if you maybe break your book up into chunks, so let's say break it up into 4 or 5 chunks, and get 2 or 3 beta readers, you give them chunk 1, let them read that, you get all their feedback, and then you compile their feedback to fix one section while they're reading another. That can kind of help you with your layers and to see how other people are interpreting your work, because everybody's going to interpret it a little bit differently. Then once you've compiled all of your beta reader notes, then you can do a fresh review once more, and you're probably going to be clean after that and ready to move on to actual editing.
That's true. So, Julia, do you use different software for each of your different passes, or do you just
no. So I change my writing process kind of every time I do it. I used to write it up all by hand, and then when I typed it in, I'd start editing, and then I realized like that I was getting stopped by like the mechanics of writing it out by hand and having to type it up afterwards. So then I just started typing it on the computer. And then what I would do is print out the draft and go through with different pen colors. So green would be the descriptions that I needed to add in. Red would be this character. And like that helped me to visually organize the different notes so that I could say like, I don't need to look at this for this pass. I can just skip ahead and go to this character.
Okay. Yeah. I tend to use different software from like each stage to each stage. And because you were saying,
okay. What kind of software are you using?
I use Scrivener at first, because then I can like move stuff around as I need to. And then
I'm like spending that $40 is hard for me to get Scrivener. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, that's a lot of meat I could buy to eat. I'm a big foodie.
I got it for half off for Nano.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I think 5 or 6 years ago, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the only reason why I did. And then so I do Scrivener at first, and then I go from Scrivener to Google Docs. Because I can write on different computers, because I can't take my big rig with me when I'm working. And then I go from that to Word, because that's what I format in. So
okay.
Yeah.
I had fun in Google Docs with Three Furies Press, and watching 3 of them tackle me at one time was very.
Don't invite other people to your Google Docs. Those are for you.
Well, I have to.
You're his publisher, yeah.
They're editing my stuff. I have to let them in there. But it's funny how like one of them will go behind the other one and correct the other one, and then it's just like, and then I answer it, and then they go back, and then they find another edit before that, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like going forward now, I'm going backwards, and
I can't look at it when someone else is in it. I can't look at it because of that. It's like too anxious making.
I just use Microsoft Word. I like the concept of Scrivener. I've played around with it a little bit, but I just the way I approach it is I just point A to point B, get the story done. Then then go through it and start looking at where did we get long-winded, where have we expanded too much, or where do we got to cut, or where do we got to lengthen. I get that out of the way, and then I go back, and of course I'm plugging away at the grammar as we're going and everything like that. But I think I probably go through my drafts probably 7 or 8 times at least. And then it's got to go to the editor, and then you got the copy edit. You got, all of the 3 stages of editing with my publisher. And then I even got hit with proofs after that. So I have a question for everybody as writers. When you get to the end of that stage and you let the little sea turtle go and it runs towards the ocean, do you like the book anymore? Because I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the book.
Right.
I can't even read the book after it's gone. Now, after a period of time, once the divorce is over, we can start to talk again. I will pick the book up and read little chapters from it. But
That's the perfect way to put it.
just-
Yeah.
After
I
you
mean,
pick
but
up the possessions.
After the
So-
kids have grown up and
Yeah.
left the house.
Yeah. So I love the process and that, or I love the creation process part of it. That's the best part. The mechanics. I mean, I do it. It has to be done. But what about you guys? When you publish a book, just anybody?
I absolutely
love it or-
love my
hate it?
books. I will go back and read short stories I wrote years ago. Like, oh, I'm bored. Here, I'll reread this email chain that I role played with. Oh, by the way, Rebecca, it's Friday night. Stop fucking working. Leave Mike alone.
Right.
I know, I keep
We're
doing this pop-
in a bar.
Look at the time, Rebecca. It's the weekend. Yeah.
But I love my writing. I will gladly sit down with my own book and read it for funsies.
That's how I know it's done. Is when I like it.
I have to kind of have a distancing period. Like you can ask Rebecca. There's a couple times where I'm like, do I really have to proof this on on Ingram Spark? Because I'm like sick of it by then. Where I'm just like, it looks like fine. I know it's been proofread and stuff, and it's just like, I guess it's like it depends on how much of a struggle to climb that mountain is. Because I feel like every book's a new mountain. You got to figure out a new way to climb it and tackle that. Those insurmountable tasks. And like, I love editing, but I hate editing my stuff. Like when I edit my stuff, I'm like, oh, this is crap. And like, it's just like torture to me. Like, why am I like this? It's just like hours and hours of me saying, why am I like this? And so I get to the point where I'm like, I need space. The book is published and I'm just not going to look at it for a while.
I definitely don't look at it like after, like there's a window where I don't look at it. But the last pass that I do, and this finally actually happened. Like I always get caught in the doldrums for a really long time,
Right.
for probably like a good third of the book, and I just hate it and it's miserable. And I have to like constantly ask my critique partners, like, does it actually suck, or like is it just me? And
Right.
Yeah.
like finally, as I'm going through the final revisions, if I like most of what I'm reading, I mean, obviously, like, not everything's a winner, but if I like most of it, I know that, like, okay, it's done enough for it to go on to the next stage, I think. But yeah, that like awful it sucks stage lasts for a really long time, I think.
Right.
Well, I just kicked my book out the curb there. 4 just came out a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not gonna go into big
congratulations.
talk. Thank you. And I once I gave the okay, this is it, man. I'm not doing any more. The edits are done. Okay, we're all happy. And they said, oh yeah, you're okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Let's go. And so I haven't had I don't even have a physical book yet. People have read the book, and I'm waiting on my contributor copies, which are supposed to come this week. But one of the things I did get to do today, which was super cool, how's that for using an adverb? I got to listen to I got the first 15 chapters of the audiobook for 4 sent to me.
Oh yeah.
So I sat down and listened tonight, and the guy that's doing I have the same guy doing all of my series books. He started with the first book, he's doing this book, and by God, if there's another book, he's definitely got to be doing it. But he did a scene in it that I knew was going to be really difficult because it was set in Bucharest, Romania, and there were accents and all of this stuff. And I got to say, the guy just nailed it. And that's just I'm dovetailing in that into the fact that we're saying, oh, I don't even want to look at the book, but it gives me hope because it sounds really good. And I'm wondering who the hell wrote it because I don't remember writing this. Like, you know what I mean? That's the fun little surprise you get when you do revisit your work, I think.
That is the
Well,
best
that's what
feeling.
got me through my doldrums was hearing the first 15 of the first book in the series as I was finishing the last book in the series, and I don't know if I would have gotten through the doldrums like at all as fast if I hadn't done that.
Yeah, that helps. It does.
I love your MJ. I love your typewriter back there. That's fantastic.
Oh, there's two back there actually.
Yeah,
The other
nice,
one's smaller. One's a Remington. Yeah. Well, if you look back here, I'll just give you I'll move this. Look what's behind it. Look behind the chair there.
Oh, that's awesome.
You see her? Yeah, my office is a mess, but anyways, yeah, I like old typewriters. I've been told I'm not allowed to collect anymore for a while. Sorry about that with the camera. Holy cow. But yeah, I love them. They're just beautiful old machines. And actually, you guys are way younger than I am, and I started on a typewriter, so I have a real love for the machines. However, when they came out with word processing and all this, thank bloody God, thank God, because I sucked at typing too.
I was the last.
They're wonderful machines.
I was the last of my high school class to take typing on an actual typewriter.
Right.
So I know what you're talking about.
Half of my
we were one of
first
the
novel
first
was written on an
classes in
IBM
computers.
Electric.
Yeah,
Pardon?
we didn't have the money for a computer at my house, so we had an electric typewriter for a while. So that was fun, just tapping away at that.
Now, how many of you like keyboards with the really loud, springy keys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dislike.
That's my
I just like
the
the electric
feedback.
typewriter so much because it had that little narrow window, and I would type so fast, and then it would lose like half of it, and I'd have to go back, and it'd be like
Oh,
trying
right.
to go back and trying to find it, and it was like it always drove me nuts. So,
Yeah, but you're not supposed to look when you're typing anyway, Joe.
but come on.
Have you ever tried this little trick? You can touch type just fine in normal conditions, but turn the lights off and try and touch type, and it completely freaks your brain out.
Well, I don't know. Our computer class, we had like a computer class, and she made us do the quick ask Zoe thing, where you memorize like these sentences for what keys were which finger. Like we had to memorize it to the point she's like, you are never going to, you'll have Alzheimer's and still remember this, because like she just made us memorize it for a whole month, like every day for hours. And it was just like, yep, quick ask Zoe, what stops x-rays? Like I could type any condition, I think.
Now
I
I'm, like,
don't. I
looking at
never.
the computer trying to figure out
I never learned how to type. I taught
Right.
myself how to type, but
you just do
I
the
mean,
search.
anybody that's a typist that would watch my fingers moving over the keyboard would be calling 911, because like I mean I don't have where you set your fingers on the proper keys and then you work from there, each distance. I never learned that way, because when I started writing stories I was like 10 years old, man. I started on a typewriter playing like that. I thought that was the coolest machine, but I basically retarded myself to typing, for lack of a better word. And I can't fix it. I can't go back but I'm very fast at what I do now. So it's anyways, that was a bit
mean-
My
of souls.
mom was making fun of me because I'm like, I was really slow on her keyboard. I was writing her an email and like for her, and so I was really slow on her keyboard. And she's like, "You're a writer. Like, why? What's wrong with you? Why can't you type? It's like your keyboard is like completely laid out in a different way. Like it is."
Right. I can type in the dark, but if I get on someone else's keyboard, then I'm like, whoa, these keys are spaced differently.
Yeah, yeah.
Muscle memory
They don't
throws you
feel the
off.
same
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, your
If they
muscle
don't
memory.
have the
My kids are always telling me I text like an old lady, but I can type circles around them.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I'm curious from this group, because I don't know. I started writing longhand. That's how I started writing. I wrote on pen and paper, even pencil and paper, with the big giant pencils. I don't know if anybody remembers the big giant pencils, but I read I that's how I started writing, and then and I have notebooks full of my writings and things like that. But then I started typing, and then I abandoned the writing part of it, right? Writing longhand, and then I got a computer, and I abandoned the typewriter. And I'm just curious if that's how everybody else's evolution went. Is that do you guys or do you? I mean, because every once in a while, when I go back and like nostalgically try to write something in longhand, I get cramps really fast and really easy, and it's like that never used to happen to me. But
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I was probably the only kid in my college class who would take notes by hand. Like, everyone else had their laptops out, but I was just always much faster writing because I grew up writing everything longhand. But it got to the point where I would just get so frustrated with the process of like typing it in after I wrote a whole novel longhand that I was just like, I'm just going to keep computer.
everybody always trips out too because I have very pretty handwriting. I'll try to find something that I wrote here that's not offensive or anything.
Well, I started with clay slabs and stylus, back in the dark ages. I did a lot of writing in college. That was all done on typewriter. I earned my way through college typing other people's college papers because I was one of the few people with a typewriter and who could type and edit.
So here's
yeah, I like the clacky keyboard. I don't write longhand because I forget what I'm trying to say. I cannot write fast enough to keep up with my brain unless it's typing.
I notice I miss a lot of words when I'm actually handwriting. So here's my handwriting for everybody who wants to see it. This is me. This is my schedule from last. That's how I.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Oh, pretty.
So
But that's printing, not handwriting.
Look how nice you write.
Yeah,
Oh my
That
goodness.
is beautiful, yeah.
Joe, that's what I do too. Is the only handwriting I do anymore, and it's not it's printing. Much like you, I pretty much abandoned the art of handwriting. But my handwriting was always atrocious, anyways.
I hated
my wife.
I hated doing the Z. The Z always messed me up. So
That's a fun one, though.
So I was like, screw this. I'm not doing this handwriting crap.
See, I write so fast. It's like mostly cursive with a couple of print letters thrown in. It's this weird amalgamation, but I'm just like, only I can read it probably, but I'm just like, go crazy. But it's still better than Sissy because she's an optometrist. So she's got the doctor writing where she's just like, writes like 3 letters and it's a prescription or something. And you're just like, that's a long word for only 3 letters,
If I can find some handwriting on, because it's illegible, completely illegible.
Dip pens. You're a dip pen, Regine.
But I pretty much went the same route that you did. I mean, I started penning short stories when you're a kid, write them out in pencil, and then if you're doing it for school, you do fill it out and pen and hand it in, and the same thing, typewriters. Then, actually, I thought it was a big deal because I got I can't remember if it was I think it was a Brother typewriter, and it actually had that little tiny LED screen, and so you could actually write. You could write chapters on it. You'd only get the little LED screen. But the one thing I found out, and I was writing I was attempting a book, and it only had so much memory. And rather than tell you when it got to the end of that memory, it just erased the memory and you had to start again. And I think I lost like 5 chapters out of a book off that. I thought I was going to just throw it out the window.
I hate that little screen. That little screen's the devil. It's awful because then also because you had to hit the return button to go to the next line, and then it had that little return arrow in there, and I was like, that always screwed me up too. I was like, screw this, just let me just see what I'm typing.
Well, when it came out, I thought it was state of the art, but I mean, then once the computer
I thought it was
came
cool
out,
too.
I was all in.
Did you guys back Betamax too?
We had laser discs.
You guys picked the wrong technology to learn.
I also when I first got into music with my dad, his first music was 8 tracks, So I used his old 8-track player, and he had like 7 or 8 different albums on 8-track that I would listen to. So I go that far
Did you
back.
have
That's
the
how old I am.
Did you have the matchbook that you have to have with every 8-track player to stick it under to keep it from sticking?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure. And then and then you get the cassettes, and then you had to have the pencil that rewound the cassette whenever it got tangled up. And then you had to have the eraser for the Nintendo machine because it wouldn't hold the return wouldn't hold all the way down. So you just take a little eraser and you stick it in there so that it would hold the game down. I go way back.
Dating yourself.
Yeah.
That's actually awesome.
So I'm old already. I mean,
I would love. Oh, nice. Yeah, I would love to get into art journaling and with all the fancy pens and calligraphy and all like the pretty inks and stuff. But I have way too many crafts at home that I don't do.
I do like character sketches
Art.
sometimes, which is fun. I think.
Mhm.
I mean, they're not like super finished. I was thinking about doing a box set at some point, like a really nice one, just for myself, as, like, a reward for finishing the series. And I want to like get some of the character sketches that I've done, that are just like black and white, plain, but like get them finished in a nice way, and then put them at the beginnings of different sections of the book, because I think that'd be neat. But that's like, I'd have to make them look pretty.
Right, the pressure of art is like sometimes gets to me, but I love Pit Crew. Like you can like just make your characters on Pit Crew. I've got like 1,000 different downloaded images of like different animation styles of my characters.
I've never tried it, but yeah, they look cool.
It's addictive. Yeah, the little avatar making things. Because like I said, you can do it for each character, so you can kind of figure out like, this character is a little bit more like boisterous, so her hair flips over and she's got like the big curls, and like it helped me figure out my characters. It was fun.
Yeah. Do you guys cast your characters like with actors, like actual humans, not just like composite?
I do.
Yeah, sometimes.
I
Dream
don't
casting.
generally share those images. They're just for me.
Mm-hmm.
For help when you're like, how
Yeah.
should I describe them again, or how exactly?
Yeah, I'll download celebrity pictures and put it in the file that I'm writing on so that I can refer back to it if I want to describe a character.
And I'll look at the actor I chose and go, oh right, I wanted to write an asshole. All right.
Right? Yeah.
I would do like renderings too of characters and stuff. I find it stuff like that has a. I'm not that's the issue, but enough that I would have something to look at, and you start to get an idea of how their eyes are and stuff. The actor thing, I think more I draw from seeing certain actors, like an actor like Lee Marvin, like an old actor. How one of these men's men, how his face is chiseled, stuff like that, and yeah, so I see that because you grow up seeing all this stuff is all visual to you, and certainly that's what I would do. I'd love to have the ability to animate or to actually draw the stuff that I write, but I'm just not that good, and so.
I don't do actors, but the Pit Crew helped because it's like I don't like to describe characters like full out, like whole features. But I do like little characteristics. Like one character has like an upturned nose, and a beauty mark. And so like that's how you can get because you can get a good visual of a character just from a couple of characteristics, like an upturned nose, and you're like, oh, I can picture it in my head as a reader, without dictating too much so that like the character has to look like this.
Well, here I'll show you something here. This is a rendering I did of my serial killer Lance. I don't know how well you can see that. Maybe if I turn the light off of it. But that's like just that face, but I can't. Like I said, I'm not a guy that could sit down and, for instance, Katie or V.S. Holmes said, "Oh, I'm going to sketch you with your glasses" or anything like that. Not a chance. You'd end up having, maybe closer to Linus from Peanuts or Lucy from Peanuts or whatever. I'm not that good of an artist, so but it'd be cool to be one.
That's pretty good.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I like that.
Well, some of the cover art I've designed for my own books, and for instance, the first book I did, Equinox, I designed the cover initially because it was released indie, and then when it went to the publisher, I mean, they have their own art department, and they did the artwork for the Equinox when it was re-released, and when they did Highwayman, it was really down to it was in the end, it was my artwork that was used on the cover because I insisted. And but then they came up with the cover for the next book 4, and I had something all laid out in my mind, and I thought it looked great and everything like that. But when I saw what their artist did, I said, "That's out. This is in." Right. So, but it's that's a great part of this whole process too. I just love it when it comes to writing. It's the writing. It's the art. I use photography as well. I go out and shoot things with photography, and that inspires me. And it's the music. I love listening to music when I write. I think that's what drives me, and I can go to so many different places with it. You get like a tempo. I've got soundtracks in my minds, in my mind for the books that I've written, and that's the music that I listen to while I was. So that's cool too. Art's cool, isn't it?
Yeah. I have playlists on Spotify for like different moods, and then each character has a playlist, and then each book sort of.
You gotta share Nelva at least playlist with me. I gotta see that.
Oh, totally. Yeah. No, it's a lot of synthwave lately, especially for starters.
I was gonna say, is it a lot of Hatebreed where she's just yelling?
Yeah. Well, her specific playlist has a lot of like underground like rap.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what she listens to, and then like, but what I listen to when I'm writing her is more like folk stuff, because that's what a lot of archaeologists listen to, because it's stories, it's stories about people. That's what we like. And,
right, yeah.
Yeah, so there's that, but then because now it's in space, there's a lot of like the synth wave and the like weird dark orchestral stuff going on, like these big massive scores because the huge planets and stuff. So it's kind of funny to see how it's evolved over time. But yes, I will share you the link to that.
Nice. Awesome. I look forward to that. I left this up here by Mike because I wanted to comment about how he says I'm 4% proficient in drawing and painting. I'm about 3% less than that, Mike. So. And then Rebecca followed up with that. So.
But Rebecca's great at graphic art. Like I can't do I don't have any of the fancy stuff to do graphic art or anything like that. But she's made my covers and she did a fabulous job.
I like graphic art a lot. I also do taxidermy, which is nothing like drawing.
Not even close.
Right.
I'm so excited.
I met one of the premier taxidermists in the history of taxidermy. They did a documentary about him at Slam Dance, and I got to talk to him.
This is Esme, the sword mage. I did her at a class. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
I should tell you Franklin. Franklin's across the room, but Franklin is this atrophied mole that I found, and then I taxidermied in this very Christ-like position.
Okay.
Nice.
This little, he's cute. I have another mole in my freezer that I want to do in sort of a different Christ-like position and have like a Mary thing going on, but I don't. It's kind of blasphemous, but whatever. Once I'm not the creepiest person here with the stuff.
I have another one that's a rabbit, but it's not finished, so I don't show that to people yet.
Did you see this, Isa?
Cool.
Katie's having trouble with us.
Yeah, I have my art moments, but they kind of are hit and miss. Joe's seen some of my art. We did a show on our other hobbies other than writing. But like, oh man, I don't know if I can touch a brush in a couple years, you know. So
That was a good show. I enjoyed that.
yeah.
We need to do that again. I don't want to. We're almost out of time. I don't want to leave without MJ coming back, but so we'll keep talking if that's all right with everybody. Yeah. And now I've completely derailed the conversation, and now it's totally silent.
What were we talking about again?
Other hobbies?
Yeah, other hobbies. Cooking has been my big one lately. Like,
Well, this is my other hobby.
There you go.
My other hobby is plants. Like I have like all my seeds.
I killed a succulent. That's how bad I am with plants. I did the impossible and I killed a succulent.
Not impossible, Julia. You and me are sisters.
Yes. I'm the opposite of a green thumb, you know.
It takes skill to kill a cactus.
My mom kind of sabotaged me though, because she would like water it secretly because she didn't want it, you know. So like I would water it thinking like it'd been like 4 weeks, and then it's like, no, mom watered it last week, and she's just trying to kill it on the down low, you know. But her bamboo that she wanted is going strong, you know, like so good. Her bamboo is so good right now.
JD, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you propositioning me? I can set up my webcam business again.
All right.
Another hobby.
It's like that food trend of eating food, only it's ice of drinking. Black fist, just punching the dirt, you know. I'd love to be able to grow plants, you know, and feel like I'm nurturing something, but it's...
I would love to do like I'd love to do a garden. I'd like to do a garden, but I just that's too much work. I got too much.
I'd like
to watch somebody do a garden.
Yeah. My next door neighbor gardens like it's her job. And I really enjoy her garden.
Oh my God.
So excited.
The first year my parents planted tomatoes, they forgot to like till the ground and get rid of the grass. They just planted tomatoes in grass.
I mean,
I came home and I was like, well, you guys didn't do a garden first? Like, you got to take the grass out.
That's so funny.
So that's where I get it from.
Wouldn't that work as a mulch though, technically? Like, as long as the grass wasn't like...
My mom went through and like pulled all the grass out from around it, so it had a little breathing room. But it was just really funny. There's just stakes sticking up in the lawn, and you know they just have to mow around it. And like, but when we did our actual garden, I got the shovel out and I like did a proper garden, you know. And then my mom's like, "That's what we did not do," and I was like, "Yeah, that's what you didn't do at all."
I think one of the coolest things in a garden I've ever experienced is watermelon. Like if you can grow a watermelon in a garden, that's the best.
Right.
Like absolutely the best.
Yeah.
We've never done watermelon. We've had squash for like several years, and then like now they're like out of control because they've started to mutate, and it was just kind of fun. And last year, half of our crop was just like volunteers from the year before, and it's kind of like a crapshoot, which is probably a little bit more chaotic than a lot of people enjoy. But like I can't kill them. They tried, and I planted them last year.
Oh, my sister is merciless. She's just like, I don't want these anymore. Getting rid of them. I'm like,
Isn't part of the problem with a garden though is you have more than you really need, and it's like then you have to figure out how to get rid of it a lot.
yeah, my dad showed up with like 20 ripe tomatoes and was like, if you put them in paper bags, they get more ripe. And I'm like, they're too ripe already. Like,
No, that's not.
and I was like a college student living on my own. Like, I'm not going to eat 20 tomatoes in a day, Dad.
Well, if you have 5 children in an unsuccessful garden, that overage is not a problem at all.
Right.
Yeah. My husband does not stop eating like ever. And when he does, it's scary because he gets very hangry. So I like could not grow enough food.
Do you want to come say hi?
And so Rebecca, just to answer your question here or your comment, I don't care if they can grow it on accident. I like it. I just like it. I don't. It's better than buying it in the store. I think there's one in the store. They do something to it.
Yeah. I like the yellow ones. Have you ever had
Yeah.
those?
No.
They're
What?
awesome.
Yellow
They're-
watermelon?
yeah, they're wee. They're like this big.
Are they?
And-
Are you sure it's not cantaloupe you're talking about?
Yeah, it's actual yellow watermelon. Like the flesh is yellow, almost like a lemon color.
Oh, wow.
And it's sweeter, but it's more mild. But it doesn't. It's not
Yeah,
like a cantaloupe or anything.
That
like
wouldn't be me. I'm not a sweet guy. I like sour stuff. So
It is more mild, but it's not like I don't know. It's a different kind of sweet, I think, than water, like the pink watermelon. But
interesting.
yeah, they're tiny. They're cute. They're like single
Weird.
serving.
I've never seen that before. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah,
Cool.
we started getting them in the stores maybe 2-3 years ago, like regularly. So
And they're watermelon. They're actual watermelon.
I mean, yeah, they might be some sort of cultivar, but they're not like some weird like cantaloupe or anything. So
We're losing everybody.
I know. I'm thinking about how Joe's Bar's become the Hunger Games. All of a sudden, people are just dropping out. Well,
One by one.
I guess we'll just keep going until I'm the only one left.
just locking yourself in a room, which is
Until he's the victor. Yeah.
Oh,
I've been crocheting a lot lately too.
oh,
You
that's
know, being stuck inside, I'm like,
Yeah.
grandniece needs a baby blanket. I've decided, like, but yeah.
I didn't. You didn't hear it. I was commenting about how all of a sudden people are dropping out. And it's like the Hunger Games, and we're just going until I'm the only one left.
Nah, I don't know, a glitch. Mercury's in retrograde.
Well,
I don't know.
everyone's on the internet is what it is.
Yeah,
our internet has been off. I mean, I'm surprised.
it's Friday night. Everybody's watching porn.
No, that's on a Tuesday morning. Like it's different.
Hey, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird on a Wednesday afternoon, or well, I'm usually off on Thursdays and Fridays, and it's weird at 10:30 in the morning on Thursday then not to get pristine internet like I normally get because everybody's on the damn thing now.
Right. Whenever we
My
have to, like,
downstairs
spin it
neighbor
around.
is home a lot more, and they're very, very loud. So I like to, masturbate to get back at them.
I heard that Steam had like the game streaming thing had record people online like a week ago,
Oh, I bet.
and like at once it was like 20-something thousand, I think, maybe more than that, and it's like we're gonna see that a lot more. Like
Twitch is seeing record numbers of people right now.
the only people making money right now are the people on the actual front lines. I mean, good for them.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to shout out to the people who still have to go to work. Like, it must be so frustrating.
How about the health professionals out there that have to go into the muck of
My nieces are in elderly care, and they're like, we don't have masks. Like, it's crazy.
it's horrible, Mike.
Mhm.
My god sister's husband, he runs an ICU, and he's out in the Midwest, and they just converted. I mean, he has 6 ICUs in his hospital, and they just converted his to like only that, and it's like he's so panicked, and it's like I was doing okay, like I knew it was bad, but I was doing okay, and then when I was like hearing his reaction and like how he's giving his wife all of his passwords and account numbers, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's when it was.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, actually this week in Indies, I don't normally plug all this, but I just want to mention that last week on our show, Deborah Parmalee mentioned a service that you can go to where authors are giving up books to send to medical professionals. The link is in that show. That show dropped last Sunday, so if you go to last Sunday's show, you can find the link there, and that's a really cool thing that they're doing. I'm really That's pretty awesome. I think more of that needs to be out there for us. We need to show our appreciation to people a little bit more. I think it's pretty cool that's happening. So
There's been a lot of really, really cool stuff. Like I know on Twitter, Roxanne Gay ran. She was offering to donate just to a few people because she, that's all she could do. And then it was like tens of thousands of dollars later, just because other people were coming in and matching her and helping out.
Nice.
It's like
yeah.
it's good to see people coming together and using these communities that we've built that are like really just for entertainment at the start for this kind of stuff.
yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of people are suffering right now, and it's not just because of the disease. It's because of the virus, but it's not because they have the virus. There's a lot more to it beyond that, and it's really tough to watch. It's really, I mean, I have first world problems, so I'm not going to even pretend to complain about what I have, how it's affecting me, because it doesn't matter. But it's still it's crazy how much it's affecting people and what's going on.
Well, I was talking to you, Joe, earlier, and I was concerned about like whether or not my husband was going to be able to come home and like come home for good. Well, he's home for good. And his boss said unemployment is cool, so I'm like over the moon about that, because it's like he did have to call him and tell him to like. So do I have to choose between having like money to feed my family and killing my family? Because that's not cool. Like, dude, that's not cool. So.
Wow, and we came up on such a high note at the end, huh?
Yeah, thanks. This is great.
It's so unavoidable to talk about because it's in the forefront of everybody's minds.
Well, and our lives are completely different. Like they look completely
Right.
Yeah.
all the stuff we normally talk about.
Yeah, I'm used to working from home, but I'm having a hard time concentrating on stuff just because it's like constant thoughts and distractions and checking up on people, and
That's awful.
Yeah.
And every day the situation changes. Cities are shutting down, schools have shut down. You don't know what's going to happen from day to day.
It's really fascinating, I think, in a lot of levels, but it's also like so uncertain. Like I don't know, the storyteller in me is really fascinated by it, but like I can't concentrate enough to like really figure out how I feel about it, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah. And I've been trying to search stuff for people with anxiety and depression on like, that's why it's like focus on, the positive news stories and the good that people are doing for the community, because it's so easy to get caught up in the bad and the cynical and,
Well,
or
why don't
over information. Yeah.
Why don't we do this to close things out? Have each of you, tell everybody, get everybody excited about stuff to go and find to read, because all of you have wonderful things for people to read out there. So why don't we say goodbye with that? And I'll start with you, Julia, and to tell everybody what they can get of yours and why they should get it, because I think they should go get some J.K. Allen books right now.
Yeah. So the Angelborn series is out. All three books. It's Angelborn, Heavenfire, and Demonkind by J.K. Allen. And right now, Three Furies Press is having a quarantine sale. So you can get 99-cent ebooks, and it's great.
Nice. Awesome. All right. And VS, how about for you? Tell everybody about Nell Bentley. Nell Bentley.
Well, the first in the Nell Bentley series, actually the first in both my series, is just 99 cents because quarantine sale. And Amphibian Press is also doing a sale on all their anthologies for 99 cents. And so you guys can check that out. And also like review copies. I love giving out review copies. And I'm going to start a paperback giveaway on this coming Monday. So you guys can do that if you want to follow me on all the Instagrams and Twitter, mostly Twitter. And yeah, VS Holmes is my site.
Nice. Awesome. How about for you, Katie? I know you almost got to #1 recently. That's pretty awesome.
Katie's book.
We tried. Yeah, Jane and I both, we put in together so we could get a book bub when we dropped our first book in the Running from the Devil series down to 99 cents, which it is still 99 cents through Sunday. It made it to number 2 in magical realism out of all the books in Amazon US, and I believe it was UK and Australia. So that was really cool. But look me up by name, katiesolitis.com. I actually have a running list right now on my blog, and I'm inviting any author to share with me their links, and I'll post it up there, of free books, 99-cent books, deals that authors are offering. My books are included. The Immortalis series, the Little Werewolf series, the Old Town Pack are all currently free right now. Those links are on my website, front page, can't miss it. And then a bunch of other books from other author friends of mine, as well as some deals from audiobooks that are available through Story Origin right now.
Nice, awesome. And Isa has a great book about the way we should remember Italy, right? The way that Italy.
That's right.
should be.
You should catch the series that starts with a kiss, a perfectly safe kiss between two strangers on a bridge in Italy. It's fun, I swear. Katie, I did see you mentioning Three Furies sale on your site, so thank you very much for that. A Kiss for Luck is currently on sale for $1.99 as part of our lockdown sale.
Nice, awesome. And if you're interested in some crime thriller, I've got my Amongst the Killings out there. And anybody here who wants the code, I'll reinstate the code for this time being, and you can get it on Smashwords for $1. And then I just released, just literally 2 weeks ago, finally the sequel is out. So it's there. So everybody go check it out. We the more majority.
And it's on sale too.
Yeah,
it is on sale.
Oh, yay. Yeah, through Three Furies Press, who are my publisher. And I really appreciate the opportunity. And, it's this is an awesome conversation. As we do customary to closing Joe's Bar, everybody grab something so that we can toast and say goodnight. I just want to say to everybody out there who are hunkered down and staying put, please do everything you can to stay safe and healthy, and just be out there, and it'll all pass. We're all going to be better for this in the end, and that's all that matters. And thank you to everybody. Cheers.
Sláinte.
And the one thing I do know that it's always time to go indie now, and with that, Joe's Bar is now closed. Thanks, everybody.